Welcome back, viewers. As you are undoubtedly aware, a protracted and intense conflict has been unfolding in the Amhara region of Ethiopia, pitting the Amhara Fano forces against the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, ENDF. The situation has escalated dramatically over the past 3 days, with reports suggesting that the Amhara Fano forces have achieved substantial victories, while the ENDF has sustained heavy casualties and losses. The latest updates from sources deemed reliable within central Gonder bring attention to a significant shift in control dynamics. Kola Diba town, situated within the East Dembia district, had hitherto been firmly under the control of the Ethiopian regime's army, the ENDF. However, following a series of fierce confrontations between the Amhara Fano forces and the ENDF, Kola Diba town is now reported to have fallen under the control of the Amhara Fano forces. Moreover, reports indicate that the Amhara Fano forces have made substantial territorial gains across the broader Gonder region. In addition to the reports we discussed earlier, there is breaking news concerning a significant development in the ongoing conflict. It has come to our attention that 130 Ethiopian National Defense Force (ENDF) soldiers have reportedly surrendered to Fano Amhara forces, and what makes this even more noteworthy is that they were accompanied by their officers. This incident unfolded in the region of Gonder, marking a pivotal moment in the conflict. Just yesterday, in a video update, we shared information received from various sources indicating that numerous ENDF soldiers had surrendered to the Amhara Fano forces in Azizo. Unfortunately, due to copyright restrictions, we are unable to provide the actual video footage of this event. However, today's report of 130 ENDF soldiers and their officers surrendering in Gonder underscores the growing trend of defections from the ENDF to the Amhara Fano side. This development is undeniably a significant victory for the Amhara and Fano forces. The surrender of such a large group of ENDF soldiers and officers not only weakens the ENDF's position, but also boosts the morale and strength of the Amhara-Fano alliance. As the conflict continues to evolve, it's clear that dynamics on the ground are shifting, and these developments are shaping the course of the conflict in the region. The situation has also illuminated certain deficiencies in the ranks of the Ethiopian military. Observers have noted that the Amhara Fano forces' successes in Gonder have exposed what some perceive as a lack of professionalism and effective military strategy among the generals within the ENDF, who are loyal to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. The defeat of the ENDF in Gonder is unquestionably a major setback for them. There are reports suggesting that the ENDF has been recruiting and deploying new soldiers with limited training and experience, which could be a contributing factor to their struggles on the battlefield. According to sources emanating from the Amhara region, the Gonder operation has been declared a success by the Amhara Fano forces. It is reported that they have seized a significant quantity of military equipment from the ENDF in Gonder, providing them with the necessary resources to embark on larger-scale operations against the ENDF in the broader Amhara region. Nevertheless, it is important to note that certain areas of Gonder are still reportedly under the control of the ENDF, where clashes and fighting continue. Nonetheless, the capture of Kola Diba town is a significant strategic gain for the Amhara Fano forces. Recent reports have also brought to light disturbing allegations regarding the conduct of the Ethiopian army in Gonder. It is alleged that wounded Amhara Fano soldiers and their family members who were seeking medical treatment in hospitals have been subjected to extrajudicial executions by the Ethiopian army. Shockingly, similar incidents have been reported in other areas, including Finote Salam and Waldia. These reports raise grave concerns about the treatment of wounded combatants and civilians caught in the midst of this protracted and harrowing conflict. The allegations underscore the urgent need for international attention and intervention to address the humanitarian crisis unfolding in the region. In 2018, when Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed took charge in Ethiopia, many thought he would be a great leader. Ethiopia had been ruled by a group called the ENDF for a long time, and Abiy promised to bring about big changes. He talked about unity, making peace, and having a real democracy. At first, people were hopeful and happy about his leadership, but it didn't take long for people to see that Abiy's big ideas didn't really lead to good results. Even though he talked about democracy, he still kept a lot of power for himself. The things he said he would do to make Ethiopia better didn't really happen. Instead of bringing people together, his policies made them fight more. So after a while, people started worrying about Ethiopia's future. The main problem was that Abiy thought he was the only one who could solve Ethiopia's problems. He didn't want to work together with others or build strong institutions. Instead, he wanted everything to be his way. He also relied a lot on help from other countries like the UAE. Abiy spent a lot of time and money on big projects like fancy resorts and a super expensive palace, while regular people in Ethiopia were struggling with high prices and a tough economy. This showed that he had the wrong priorities and wasn't leading well. Even though Abiy got rid of the old ruling group, the country was still divided along ethnic lines. He didn't do a good job of healing those divisions, and instead, he made things worse. This hurt the chances of Ethiopia becoming a better democracy. People's right to speak freely and gather together were taken away by the police, and the media was controlled more tightly, even though Abiy had promised more freedom. All these undemocratic actions made it easier for rebellions to start. Abiy didn't try to talk to the people who were protesting. Instead, he used the military, which just made things worse. Now Ethiopia is facing a lot of problems. Some parts of the country are no longer under government control, and there are armed groups causing trouble. The government forces are not doing well either. But Abiy doesn't seem to want to admit that he made mistakes. He blames other people and foreign countries for the problems instead of looking at what he did wrong. He talks about Ethiopian unity, but also attacks people who disagree with him. Abiy is now focusing more on his home region called Oromia, and he's using people from there to help him stay in power. This makes other groups feel left out and upset. Basically, Abiy is more interested in being a famous leader than in building a real democracy. He acts like he's the only one who matters and doesn't listen to other people. His fancy talk might sound good to some, but it shows that he's not in touch with what's really happening. Instead of bringing people together, Abiy's leadership has caused more problems. He needs to change his ways. Ethiopia's future doesn't depend on just one person, even if he thinks it does. The way forward is to have fair rules and share power among different groups. Abiy should end the state of emergency, release people who were arrested, and start talking to everyone about making peace. The promises he made about democracy need to become real, and Ethiopia's future should be decided by all Ethiopians, not just one leader.